Today we are diving into one of the darkest and most chilling tales in the annals of true crime. Strap in, because this is not for the faint of heart. We are going to explore the haunting depths of the Fritzl case, a story that defies belief and will send shivers down your spine. Picture this: a quiet Austrian town, a seemingly ordinary family, and a secret so sinister that it remained concealed for nearly a quarter of a century. Behind closed doors, a house of horrors lay hidden beneath the surface, known only to one man, Josef Fritzl. In this video, we will unravel the disturbing secrets of the Fritzl family, a twisted saga of captivity, incest, and unspeakable crimes. How could such unspeakable atrocities go undetected for so long? What drove Josef Fritzl to commit such heinous acts? And how did the nightmare finally come to an end? As you delve deeper into the case, you will be left with one burning question: how well do we truly know our neighbors? Prepare yourself for a shocking journey through one of the most chilling and mind-boggling criminal cases in the modern history. The Fritzl case emerged in 2008 when a woman named Elisabeth Fritzl, who was born on 6 April 1966, told police in the town of Amstetten, Lower Austria, that she had been held captive for 24 years by her father. According to her, he had assaulted, sexually abused, and raped her repeatedly during her imprisonment, inside a concealed area in the cellar of a family home. This story sent shockwaves throughout Austria. It began when, after completing her compulsory education, Elizabeth started a course to become a waitress. During this time, she ran away from home and went into hiding in Vienna with a friend from work. She was found by police within 3 weeks and returned to her parents. According to Elizabeth, when she turned 18, she was lured into the basement of the family home by her father, who needed help carrying a door. In reality, Fritzl had been converting the basement into a makeshift prison chamber, and the door was the last thing he needed to seal it. After Elizabeth held the door in place while Fritzl fitted it into the frame, he held an ether-soaked towel on her face until she was unconscious, then threw her into the chamber. After Elizabeth's disappearance, Rosemarie, Josef's wife, who was unaware of the intentions of his husband, filed a missing persons report. Josef, taking advantage of Elizabeth's previous escape attempt, handed over a letter to the police. The letter stated that she was tired of living with her family and was staying with a friend. He warned her parents not to look for her or she would leave the country. This was the first of the several letters that he had forced Elizabeth to write while she was in captivity. Over the next 24 years, Fritzl kept Elizabeth hidden from the world and from his family. He went into the hidden chamber almost every day, or a minimum of 3 times a week, bringing food and other supplies, and repeatedly raping her. Elizabeth gave birth to 7 children during her captivity. 3 of them remained in captivity with their mother. 1 child died shortly after birth and was cremated by Fritzl himself, and the other 3, Lisa, Monica, and Alexander, were removed from the chamber as infants to live with Fritzl and his wife, who were surprisingly approved by local social services authorities as their foster parents. Officials said that Fritzl very plausibly explained how 3 of his infant grandchildren had appeared on his doorsteps. The family received regular visits from social workers who saw and heard nothing to arouse their suspicions. Other 3 children stayed with their mother in the basement. The captives had a television, a radio, and a video cassette player. Food could be stored in a refrigerator and cooked or heated on hot plates. Elizabeth taught her children to read and write. Other than this, they were denied any formal education. Well, now the question arises that why didn't Elizabeth attempt to escape? You see, the cell where Elizabeth and her children were kept had 2 access points: a hinged door that weighed around 500 kilograms, which is thought to have become unusable over the years because of its weight, and a metal door reinforced with concrete and on steel rails that weighed 300 kilograms and measured 1 meter high and 60 centimeter wide. It was located behind a shelf in Fritzl's basement workshop, protected by an electronic code entered using a remote control unit. In order to reach this door, 5 locking basement rooms had to be crossed. To get to the area where Elizabeth and her children were held, 8 doors in total needed to be unlocked, of which 2 doors were additionally secured by electronic locking devices. So it was practically impossible for her to escape. In addition to this, Fritzl told Elizabeth and the 3 children, Christine, Stefan, and Felix, that they would be gassed if they tried to escape. Although it was concluded by the investigators that this was an empty threat to frighten the victims, as there was no gas supply into the basement, he also told them that they would be electrocuted if they tried to meddle with the cellar door. He would also punish the family by shutting off their lights or refusing to deliver food for days at a time if they refused to submit or showed any signs of resistance. All these hurdles made it impossible for them to escape. So how did Josef Fritzl got caught? It all began in the spring of 2008. The shocking discovery came to light when Christine, Elizabeth's eldest daughter, fell unconscious, prompting Fritzl to reluctantly seek medical help. For the first time in decades, Elizabeth glimpsed the outside world as she assisted in carrying Christine out of the chamber. However, this fleeting moment of freedom was short-lived, as Fritzl compelled Elizabeth to return to the underground chamber, where she endured another agonizing week. The facade began to crack when Christine's mysterious illness raised suspicions among the medical staff. They found aspects of Fritzl's story puzzling and alerted the police on 21st April. The police, unaware of the twisted reality, launched a public appeal for Elizabeth to come forward and provide information about Christine's medical history. The police also reopened the case file on Elizabeth's disappearance. While Christine was fighting for her life, Elizabeth's desperate pleas to be with her daughter led to her release, along with her son Stephen and Felix. As they reached the hospital staff alerted the police. The truth emerged as the police intervened, detaining Fritzl and Elizabeth on the hospital grounds. They took them to the police station for questioning. After a promise to never face her father again, Elizabeth courageously recounted her 24 years of captivity, revealing the unspeakable horrors she endured. Elizabeth recounted that Fritzl raped her and forced her to watch pornographic videos, which he made her reenact with him in front of her children in order to humiliate her. After completing the investigation, Fritzl, aged 73, was arrested on suspicion of heinous crimes against his own family. He told the investigators how to enter the basement chamber through a small hidden door, opened by a secret keyless entry code. The night unfolded with the discovery of a hidden basement chamber shrouded in darkness and secrecy. As DNA evidence confirmed Fritzl as the biological father of his daughter's children, the town grappled with a shocking reality. The story of Josef Fritzl sent shockwaves through Austria, leaving a scar on the town of Amsterdam that would never fully heal. The forensic psychiatrist diagnosed Fritzl as having a severe combined personality disorder and recommended that Fritzl receive psychiatric care for the rest of his life. It is believed that his mental issues resulted from his relations with his mother. Initially, while reflecting on his childhood, Fritzl described his mother as the best woman in the world and as strict as it was necessary. However, his statements changed later on, and he claimed that she used to beat him and humiliate him. He said that he never received a kiss or hug from her. She called him a Satan, a criminal, a no good. But things changed when he got married and bought a house. His mother moved in with him and the roles reversed as his mother came to fear him now. He admitted that he had later locked his mother in the attic and bricked up her window and told neighbors that she had died, and kept her locked up until her death in 1980. It is unknown for how long Fritzl kept his mother locked up in his attic, but the newspapers have speculated that it may have been up to 20 years. It seems like this guy had the habit of locking up family. Well, after his arrest, Fritzl claimed that his behavior toward his daughter did not constitute rape, but was consensual. In extracts from talks with his lawyer, Fritzl said that he always knew during the whole 24 years that what I was doing was not right, that I must have been crazy to do such a thing. Yet it became a normal occurrence to lead a second life in the basement of my house. Regarding his treatment of Elizabeth and her children in the cellar, he explained that he brought flowers for Elizabeth and books and toys for the children into the bunker, as he called it, and often watched videos with the children and ate meals with Elizabeth and the children. According to Fritzl, he decided to imprison Elizabeth after she did not adhere to any rules anymore when she became a teenager. That is why I had to do something. I had to create a place where I could keep Elizabeth, by force if necessary, away from the outside world. On the first day of testimony, jurors watched 11 hours of testimony recorded by Elizabeth in sessions with police and psychologists in July 2008. The tape is said to have been so harrowing that 8 jurors did not watch more than 2 hours at a time. 4 replacement jurors were on standby to replace any of the regular jurors in case they could not bear to hear any more of the evidence. Besides the video testimony, Elizabeth's older brother, Harald, testified and said that he was also physically abused by Fritzl as a child. Fritzl's wife, Rosemarie, and Elizabeth's children refused to testify. On 18th March 2009, Elisabeth Fritzl attended the second day of the criminal trial against her father, in preparation for a book she wrote about her ordeal. Josef Fritzl recognized that Elizabeth was in court, and from this point on you could see him going pale and break down. The next day, Fritzl began the proceedings by approaching the judge and changing his pleas to guilty on all charges, with the exception of murder and grievous assault, by threatening to gas his captives if they disobeyed him. On 19th March 2009, Fritzl was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for 15 years. He said that he accepted the sentence and would not appeal. Fritzl is currently serving out his sentence in Karsten Abbey, a former monastery in Upper Austria that has been converted into a prison. As for the condition of Elizabeth and her children, it was revealed by Judge Humer that they were in fairly good health. Following their rescue, Elizabeth, along with her 6 surviving children and her mother, were given refuge in a local clinic. Here, they were provided with comprehensive medical and psychological care while being shielded from the outside world. They were provided with new identities, but it was emphasized that the decision to take on these new identities rested entirely in their hands. This event was so harrowing that the Chancellor of Austria at the time said he planned to launch a foreign public image campaign for his country in the light of the abominable events. But this is not all. Josef Fritzl was also suspect in the murder of a 17-year-old Martina Claudia Posch. Her body was found by 2 scuba divers in 1986 on the southern shore of Lake Mondsee. He was investigated for possible involvement since at the time of the murder he and his wife ran a guest house which was located opposite where the body was found. And she was also very physically similar to his daughter Elizabeth. He was also suspected in the death of Anna, age 17, who was killed with a captive bolt pistol. She had disappeared on her way to Wels, just 35 kilometers from where Fritzl worked at the time. Another potential victim was Gabrielle Supernova, age 20, a sex worker. Her body was found at Lipno Reservoir near the Austrian-Czech border, and at the time, Fritzl was on a holiday there. However, Fritzl was ultimately not charged with these murders due to lack of evidence, and we will never know for sure if Josef really committed these murders. In the end, this all brings us to our original question. How well do we truly know our neighbors? We will see you with another video. Till then, do like, share and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you don't miss more such videos.